I questioned him at the time when I had Laura vaccinated, and I said, seizures? And he goes, it's so rare. In all my years of practicing medicine, which had been over, I think it's 34 at the time, I've never had a child react in that way. So with Caitlin being so shortly born after Laura, there was a span of 18 months. It was, I just would sign the papers. I wouldn't even read them anymore, just, sign the papers. But I trusted that, with him telling me that it was so rare that, it never happens. And so you do what you're told. I'm a law-abiding citizen, so, we're told you must vaccinate, so I did. I just, clear as day, had this feeling of go check on Caitlin. I mean, it was literally like a voice, go check Caitlin. And so I went and opened the door, and at that point her bed was against the wall, so when you open the door, I could look into her crib, and her eyes were open. So I said, well, good morning, sleepyhead, and she didn't move. She just went, like that. And so I came around and I went to grab her, and it was wet. All around her body was wet. And she was non-responsive. All she would do was kind of moan. So when I picked her up, she was like hard as a rock on one side, very stiff on one side, and the other side of her body was limp. So when I picked her up, her neck snapped. And I mean, I knew immediately, of course, seeing her in the crib, that there was something terribly wrong with her, but I really didn't know what. Seeing
this little child on this huge stretcher going, what's going on? And it's I don't know if I've blocked a lot of it out, but it's just, I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
The current vaccine program that's administered in the United States is a one-shot fits all categories. If your child is underweight, above weight, normal weight, they get the exact same shot. And it's hard to say that a child who may weigh 20 pounds should get the same vaccine dose, the same amount of a strain for a child that weighs 40 pounds. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And the other thing is, if you work in conjunction with your pediatrician in terms of the schedule is you may be able to work out a different schedule with your pediatrician that allows you not to get these cocktail formulas all at the same time, that allows you not to get the measles, mumps, rubella at the same time.
What is the purpose? Is the purpose to inject the most amount of shots in the least amount of time, or to try to protect kids? I mean,
I think it's all about money too.
Yeah. Well, where is this all going? I mean, we're getting so far off what vaccines used to be.
The vast majority of children who receive vaccines do not have an adverse reaction, and the vaccines in the long run help those children. But for children like Kate, who were perfectly healthy, I mean, the little girl had an infectious smile, she was quick on her feet, she loved to talk, she loved to walk, and then within 24 hours, she's thrown into this conundrum of no speaking, with her left arm semi-paralysis and braces on her legs. The utter terror a parent must have is mind-boggling to me.
Caitlin loves her big sister. Big sister loves her. There's a lot of things they can't do together that we try to get them to do together. It's just the physical limitations of what Caitlin can do. She's a flight risk. We can't let her play in the front yard. Any chance she gets, sees an open door, she wants to run out. She doesn't have that self-control of knowing not to go certain places. But when they are together, they're wonderful. It's heartbreaking, because we had two children so that they'd have playmates, and we had them close on purpose, and to see, this is what we had planned for, and we thought we were going to have two inseparable sisters, and they are inseparable, but it's not the relationship I'm sure my wife or myself pictured that they would have.
Yeah, it's robbed her of a normal childhood. She's 4.5 years old. She should be outside playing with her friends and riding a bike and, you know, doing all those things, and she can't. She's like stuck as a baby. And I know that inside she understands. She knows her sister's going outside to play.
Go ahead.
She knows, you know,
Push
there's
yourself
lots
down.
of cool stuff out there, and she understands so much, but she's locked inside.
Being able to go out to dinner, being able to go to the store, traveling. We can't travel in the car for extended periods of time. Caitlin can't handle it. I mean, just things going to the grocery store are not an easy task. I mean, you have to constantly be watching Caitlin, watching what she's doing. And she loves going to the grocery store. She loves going out to eat. I mean, these are things she likes to do. But we have to prepare ourselves like we're going out of town whenever we go anywhere.
When we first went to Alan, he said, don't expect anything for 8 years, at least. And so with it having been finished in 3, it was really great.
So over the course of the litigation, you're talking about taking numerous depositions of your neurologist, your pediatrician, your doctors, your life care planners, economists, what have you. And just over the course of the time, it's going to take many years, to be honest with you.
Why did this one not take as long?
Got lucky.
I guess for me to have a doctor state on national television that vaccines don't cause injuries, you know, it makes me so angry. I'm like, they do cause injuries, because if they didn't, then there wouldn't be any such thing as a vaccine compensation program. You know, I mean, they had to create this because so many people were suing the vaccine companies that the vaccine companies raised their prices and doctors couldn't even stock the vaccines. So, you know, there is a problem, and it's so...
That's the most upsetting part, is when you hear doctors just make that statement, it doesn't happen. That's the part that really hits home.
Because it's 180 degrees from what you live in.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, come over to our house.
Yeah. We are grateful, and, you know, and we appreciate
Yeah,
our daughter, and,
we're
you know...
grateful she's around. We're grateful she's still with us.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing, is like, you know, I'm dealing with it. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry at this point anymore, but I get angry when I hear the lies. And that's what angers me, because I feel like, you know what, why don't we just own up to what's going on here, and we can fix it. I mean, I think that together we can fix it, and there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way. I mean, I want her to be happy. You know, whatever it is that makes her happy, I want her to have that. I mean, you know, Caitlin will look at you, and sometimes it's almost hard to look her in the eye, because it's like you feel that she just looks down into your soul, and, you know, and knows, you know, she has secrets that one day I hope she'll tell.